the goose strike.
Hey everyone, Jamie Flies here with Anna Shaolin. I got the guys in the background doing some Chi Sao, learning from Sifu. And this is our first live Sifu's Corner where you can ask Sifu a question. So if you have a question for Sifu, we're going to take a few of them. We're going to run for about 20 minutes. So get on here, let me know, and I will ask Sifu for you. Until then, you can enjoy the boys doing their thing.
You're going like this, trying to take his hands out. Rather than hit the point. See, he can't take you. You go like this, easy slip. Most people go for motion, go for point. See, every time he moves a point, I'm on point. See? So be about the point, not about the motion. I see, you went for his hands again. You don't go for the hands. See, now stay on point. Wherever he moves, you affect the point, not the motion. When you affect the point, you get the motion behind it. They go hand in hand. So when you're fire, you're hot. Right now, you're just heat, but you're not fire. You don't have hot.
Man. Keep on that one go around.
Listen. Get your structure up. Your structure's weak. That's why he's affecting you. Tough, drive, and just control the point. So when he moves, you're affected by the point. See? You're looking for the control. That's why your hands fidget. You have to be in control. A little bit better. So you chased, didn't you? What I always say, place it, don't
chase it.
Right. Be on point. Be on point. Better. Now, see, that was outside to your shoulders. When he traps your hands this way, go with it. Don't go against it. Convert it. So you can use the energy. So when he's hitting your arm down, you can convert that energy out. If you go like this and you fight back, you're fighting against him. You want to convert the energy. So that way you allow him to strike, but you can use the energy that he hit you with and put it back to him, and then you're free to hit.
Convert it.
Tough. Yeah. See how much better you have to fight?
Yeah.
Stop fighting him. Fight with him, not against him.
But if he's going that way.
Don't move. Do the same thing again when he passes you. Remember, what's the job of the elbow?
Push.
To go where?
Wrist.
So why is it going like this? Is that going to the wrist? So when he checks you, convert it to your hand. Oh, that's better. But don't chase. You reach. You converted, but you didn't convert the point. You went after the motion. You don't go for the motion, you go for point. So even if he's here, look, go up, control that.
Oh, to his point.
That point and that point. Whatever contact point you have, you must learn to control. Now see, you're fighting him.
Yeah, I'm fighting him.
If he's pushing back, that means that you're fighting him first. So do it slower. Convert up, rotate, convert. Don't push him, just convert. So you're going like this, and am I going converting, or am I look like I'm swinging?
Swinging.
Conversion has a forward energy to the wrist, so the wrist can turn. You see, I drove my energy to my hands, so I have energy in my hands, so I can turn. Without the feeding of the elbow to the hand, then the wrist can't do its job. You must drive pressure to the hand. So see, but if I'm like this, do you see me going forward? So how does my wrist turn? I need to feed it in my wrist so I can turn.
So I might have to go that far.
No, you go further because it takes you longer to realize how to control. The better you are, the smaller you'll get. But in the beginning, it's okay. You can go bigger just because, no. Look, take this, shoot up to your hand. Don't go back, just go up. Now use your wrist and your waist since it's close. Use your hips and your wrist. That's it. Stop using your shoulders. Shoulders don't work.
Wow.
Use your wrist and your waist. Better, but you went past
yeah.
on the hand on the return. Go up, and rotate back. Now if he happens to be this, shoulder, elbow, wrist, turn. See now you affect him.
Yeah.
It's not about trying to move him. It's about controlling the point, and you get the motion behind that when you do that. Right?
Yeah.
Stop trying to affect him by pushing him. Affect him by.
Well, he's holding it.
Hold means nothing. Hold just means that he's got a grip on you. It doesn't mean he has control on you. The control
Hey
here is now.
Randan, welcome. If you have any questions for Sifu, let us know.
Arm, up the hand, and rotate your hips. See, whenever you have a contact point, there's 2 points he'll affect you with on the grip. He has your thumb side and your pinky side. If you do just your thumb side, he can just control your pinky side and take your pressure away. That's why you can't turn. You have to have pressure on the pinky side, or on his pinky side, and your thumb side, and that's your balance. So when he moves you, now you have control. But if you're like this, I'm only one-sided, he'll affect you on the other side. So you have to have both, and you have to figure your structure. Who cares if he holds you? If he holds you, it doesn't mean he can do anything. It only means he can do something when you can't influence him back. So if he holds you, just control. Like if he has me, I'm putting pressure on him. So who's got pressure on who? If he's gripping me, he's got pressure on the grip. But I have pressure on the structure. So when he moves me, so I have it. So don't try to get away from the grip. Return the energy to the grip. And the best point I can tell you is, if you look at his hands, all right, you see someone's hands, they create a Y shape. As you can see here, it's called a Y, okay? The Y grip, okay? And I always say go into the Y. Why? Because it works. So when you're here, you want to think of driving into that Y. If you drive away from the thumb, you'll drop. If you try to pull backwards, he'll push you to, because you're not driving into the Y. Go for the Y. So when he moves you, always go for the Y. So you can see, it comes back to him. The reason why you want to go to the Y, because you're returning energy to your opponent. You go like this, is it going back to your opponent or away from him?
Okay.
So pressure's not on him, pressure's into you now. But if you put pressure onto the Y, he has pressure coming back to him just as much as he's trying to put to me. Because whatever he puts to me goes back to him. I'm not fighting the motion, I'm returning the energy. I'm controlling the point. So just go for the point control. Don't try to move him like this.
Hey guys and girls and guys, I see that we got like a couple people watching and sharing right now, but if you have a question for Sifu, it doesn't matter if it's about Chi Sao, it could be about something else, let us know in the comments and we'll address that. Right now, Hector and Sifu Larry are working on their Chi Sao and Sifu's correcting them, but that doesn't mean your question has to be Chi Sao related. We just wanted to give you something to look at and watch while we're waiting for some questions to come through. So ask your questions, all right?
And you rotate it backwards. I want you to think of going forward. So put pressure on your opponent. So think of a rolling pin. You're here, you start the initial here, right? Roll into it. Don't do this. Do I look like I'm going forward or backwards there?
Back.
Okay?
See?
Convert. So
And
if
then
he
how
grabs
you
any pressure on you, put pressure into me, you can roll it.
Yeah.
Put pressure on me, you collapse because you didn't turn the point. You took the energy. Where does it look like it's going?
Back.
Do it again. No matter how big, no matter how strong, because you're not stopping the motion, you're controlling him. So stop fighting him, fight with him, not against him. Don't overextend.
Wow.
Do you even feel tucked or you feel extended?
Oh,
You know what I always say, if you don't tuck, then you're trucked,
yeah, I chopped.
right? So don't push. Position. Do you, look, if I go like this, do you feel forward or backwards there? Just on that little bit of pressure I gave you.
Backwards.
So tuck and go forward. Now, go ahead. Now, Larry, apply pressure. See how much easier you can control them? Remember, without forward energy, how do you influence your opponent? See, that's in your shoulders. You see your shoulders go up? So don't extend. Do it again. Go up, rotate. Drive and torque. You drove and extended. That's not torquing.
Yeah.
Torquing is about turning the wrist, articulating motion through the curve. You're not curving, you're swinging.
So it's holding me there. I need to come here.
So easy it is when you do it now.
Oh man.
It's okay. You thought one hand, forgot the other. That's what training's all about getting how to do independently.
Wow.
Like playing the drums.
Yes.
You have to know how
Took a while to
independently
get that.
between each hands.
that's
So
what
do you
was
feel
good.
forward or backwards? If I go like this to you, I'm like, right, now, go up. Now stop trying to escape him. Influence the point, and on. Does that look like you moved a lot? The bigger you move, the worse you are. The less you move, the better you become. You understand?
Ah, so he's here. Should get this one out.
No, see how you went backwards?
Yeah, I did for a second, I guess.
Tuck, tuck, tuck. There. See the difference when you tuck the energy? You're not tucking. The initial instinct of some people when they feel pressure is to get away from it. You have to train not to get away from it. You have to train how to convert it. You're a converter, not an escapee artist. Okay? You're not trying to escape him.
Thanks,
You're trying
Doug.
to
If you have
convert.
any questions, just let us know. It doesn't have to be about Chi Sao.
Wow. Okay.
Look, tell me where my hand is. Where'd my hand go?
Down.
See how I'm like this? Do it again. Where's my hand now?
Up.
Do I look like I'm in motion or just look like I'm holding?
Oh,
So when you hold, what action can you do?
nothing.
You need to convert. You see? Do it slow. When I feel the hit, see I converted it? I'm withstanding it. I went for the block. I didn't go for the counterattack. I'm not here to stop a punch. or try to get away from it. I'm here to create one. If he goes like this, I can say I'm playing to create. I'm not defending, I'm counter-attacking. You're defending.
Doesn't he
and
make
that's
it
why
look so
the
effortless?
pressure is coming back at you. You understand?
I'm
You're not here to defend, you're here to counterattack. So you gotta think in your mind that you're not stopping punches. You gotta think of how, take every force that you feel, convert. So when he tries to attack, you do it slow. So, now convert, automatically move. See, you're waiting for the next move. You're doing what I call receiving hands. Attack me, attack me, attack me. Do I have look like I'm initiating anything, or look like I'm just going up to defend? I'm waiting for him to attack me, and like I talked to you earlier before, you're waiting, you're receiving hands, you're playing receiving hands. You need to create a little bit of initiation somehow, always initiate. So when it's like this, there's always initiation, so there's always that initiation. So you see how I initiate, see how I put the pressure? And initiation is in that drive with the torque, not this. This is initiating, this is committing. The initiation is just a little bit of the wrist. Whatever the wrist does, see that little look? So when he attacks,
Hey, Dave Bryant.
see? Just on. Do I look like I move far? A lot?
no.
Very little, right? So start playing on point. See? Just on the point. So it's not about, see, look how big my hands look. You know why? Because I'm chasing him. I'm trying to stop the hands rather than initiate the
It
hands.
sounds like it's gonna hurt me, Hector.
Oh, now you can hurt him. Okay, go. Now you feel good. So initiate. Right, now see, as soon as you touch, why'd you stop? As soon as you touch, you just be taken. Why did you block and then stop?
I'm so used to the.
Because you're defending, you're waiting, you're playing receiving hands.
So attack.
Every time you move, whether you attack to hit or whether you attack to take, you have to attack. Right, yeah, like that.
Wait.
The hand can attack or the hand can initiate so the other hand can attack. You understand? But don't play just the way. See how every time you connect, is there any action after that?
No.
No, so you allow them to initiate. You keep allowing them to take you because you're playing defensive. That's okay. In the beginning, we all do that. I mean, you have to create initiation in your hands now. So when, let's say, for example, he has you like this. See how he has your hand? Initiate like a jump. Right now, when you do that, take your forearm on this, initiate with this one too. So now you have two. So when you have this, here, rather than just do like this and have nothing, initiate. See? Initiate. Initiate.
Initiate, dude.
Don't hesitate, initiate. Don't wait, initiate. Or it'll be too late. You know what I'm rhyming it. So you can remember. So you're chasing.
Was I?
Oh yeah.
We will wind it later.
Hey,
You're
Greg.
reaching.
Thanks, Shannon. Appreciate it.
So don't reach. Yes. Be on point. The goal is you're playing to stop punches. See, you're looking at your hands. See, you're looking to stop him. Your hands are playing like this. Do I look like I went to him or look like I'm trying to go to his hands?
What's the hands?
And that's why he's taking. Stop going for the hands and go for the point. Notice
You're
how
gonna
I
get
didn't
me
pull
hurt.
away. I went right to point, right? And the reason why do you train hands? Because you're training so when people put pressure on you, you want to know how to put it. Also, it's so like if he were to punch me, you're training how to initiate that control rather than and let him put pressure
Hey,
on
Doug,
you.
right now we have
You
one
want
one
on.
seminar coming
You want
up
on.
in
On.
Pittsburgh.
You punch it
And
on,
we'll have some more next year.
On,
Are you on our
on.
mailing
On.
list, Doug?
Hurt.
Hey. Whether it be you or him, which would you rather? Right? It's like this. Here's the question I would ask every student. If you had the choice between defend or attack, what would you choose?
Attack.
So why do you play your defender?
No.
Counterattack. Even if you initiate, it's like,
He told me to initiate.
it's like this. It's like, well, how can I attack him if he's attacking me first? You can't initiate an attack, but you can play counter-offensive, not defensive.
Hey guys and gals, if you want to find out about our seminars that we do have or just stay up to date with us, make sure you're on our mailing list, and you can do that by going to entershaolin.com/ebook. You'll also get our free ebook, our 5-day video series, and you'll just stay in the loop with everything that's going on with us. We do have one seminar coming up in Pittsburgh, PA this fall, and then we're going to have a whole lot more next year for you, so stay in the loop.
Wrist to point. Your wrist is off point. So when I go like this, let's say, and your wrist goes over, that's why I can hit you. Your wrist, see, you're going to your thumb. you're not going to point. Like when we do this, you
Oh,
have your
the
pinky
point.
side
Yeah,
and your thumb side. When I take it, right, see how you turn it back to point?
yeah.
But when you do this, you turn it to point away from point.
Pull away.
That's why he comes in so easy, because if you turn it, well, turn away,
Oh, oh man.
turn it back in.
Wow.
See the difference?
Now I know.
Your
how-
wrist has to
You know
be
kung
going
fu
down.
now, dude. I gotta be a little bit sharper.
Yeah, right.
You gotta go from knowledge to experience now. Now look at your wrist. Does that look like you're turning to point or away from point?
So,
So initiate so you feel like you're backed. If
oh.
you have, initiate so you feel like you're backed. Now create curves. See, much better. Now see how much better you stick? How much better you can feel like you can go forward? Now see, when he turns you like that, why didn't you just use the energy? You didn't use the energy to take him.
Come on,
You used
dude.
it to stop.
Put it together.
Look at two. I went to my hand. I did not convert it. Didn't convert that one either.
So you're chasing. See how your hand pushed?
Yeah.
So right, but now you're playing like you know something.
Good.
Now you're playing like I taught you
You're gonna
something.
get that H yet.
Now he's got to say a line now.
Hell yeah.
It's not H, it's just one line. You need to feel the line.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Now, see, you're attacking. You're
That was
not
a little
attacking. You're
inside
trying to
joke.
go after the hands. Look. Here. Do I look like I'm going towards him or towards?
It's going away.
There's like this. Now, where do I look like I'm going?
So.
Towards my opponent. Do I look like I'm going towards my opponent?
Mm-mm.
I'm going next to him, around him, near him, towards him.
Wow. So
But
you're
not
gonna this
accurately.
way. I gotta.
Right. Now that. Bam! Now you have to bust him. You have to look at your balance, because your balance is going left of him or the right of him, but not into him. You have to go into him. You have to find the balance in your wrist to turn the energy back into. For example, he's here.
Yeah.
Turn back into him. Does this feel like you're turning back into him?
No, it's going away from my thumb.
Does this feel like you're going back to him? So push into him.
I see a lot of people popping on. Welcome.
Feels
And if you have a
like-
question for
feels like dawn.
Sifu,
See,
please
every time you move,
let us
see,
know
you're-
in the
you
comments.
see, it's like a puppet master. I'm keeping the
This
pressure.
is Sifu's
on
corner
point.
where we usually answer questions.
When you go like
but
this,
right now, the guys are
and
just
you go
getting
like
rowdy.
this, he has the
They're
ability
learning
to
some
attack you
cheese
here,
out, getting some pointers
and
and
you come
everything.
full force back.
Sifu Fu.
Versus here, like be right here. Every time he's moving, you stay on point. See,
And as you can tell,
so
we're
you
kind of
can
a
go
rowdy
hand,
but-
bunch.
You can do
We like to
one
laugh,
Oh, yeah,
have a
of
good
course.
time while we're training.
Depends on your
Jeez.
ability. If you're really good, you don't have to use any hands. You can just use your heads and shoulders. Boom!
Wow. Okay.
I've actually seen Sifu Larry do that before.
So on point. Do you feel like I'm moving him to a ladder? See? I control it for you. See? Oh, I'm not fighting him. I'm just controlling the balance of it. See, I'm turning.
Let me
But
in.
here, see how you can get in if you don't. Now, as soon as I stop balance control, see how I go through? Your balance is off. That's what you have to train for. To how to control
Oh, man.
that point.
I had it for a second.
No, I had it for you.
After that, it
As
goes
soon as I let go, you lost that control. Your thumb went down.
Maybe.
So look, see, you're extended. See, that was an
I did. She
extension.
just kept on taking me.
If you look at your finger, you went like this. It was like this, right? Circle. It was like this. So
No,
take a
I
circle.
circle.
And look at my hand. Where'd my hand go?
Oh, wait.
He does the same thing. Make the woo. See?
Ooh.
Default is what?
Ooh.
The woo. Does this look like a woo? Go ahead. Do I look like a woo?
This is side move.
You committed to the motion. You didn't control the point. You're
Oh,
you're playing
hey, guys.
There's a
We
question?
have a question from Timothy
Oh, it's to the left.
James.
That's the answer.
From Timothy James. How do you improve your balance, Sifu?
For what, hands or your feet or everything overall?
I'm thinking everything overall. Timothy, if I'm wrong about that, please let me know.
Balance is experience. Okay. If you're talking about for your body, the balance I always tell people is in your head. Okay. If you're standing on one leg and you always wobble like this, it's because your head's not steady. 'Cause-
Yep, he said it's overall. He wanted to know.
Yeah. When you're talking about energy, it's about feel like the best thing I say is like thinking of a seesaw or thinking of walking on a tightrope. If you're standing there, if you tilt to the left, if I put 10 pounds here, 2 feet out, I need to create something out here of the same equivalency, or I can go further with less weight or closer with heavier weight to keep the balance. It's a feel. Like when I ride a bicycle is the best example. How'd you find your balance on a bicycle? Just experience. You have to just practice and practice. Now, when you're playing hands, the balance really lies in the wrist. Okay? The balance control is in the wrist, not in the arms. The arm is quick structure, but the balance and control is in the wrist. So that's how you find your balance. To find how much, how little, that's your experience. That's something that your experience has to teach you. But in terms of like, for example, if I have connection, I'm parrying him, he's putting pressure, The structure's solid, but if I go like this, you see, my wrist turned. Or if I do this, I went past him. It's the wrist that dictates the balance. So when he pushes into me, see, look, I'm always into the point. My wrist is always going to point. The job of the wrist is what? Is to turn to point. When I go like this, do I turn to point? No, it looks like I'm turning away. Best example is a hook punch. If you throw a hook punch, if I do this and I go like this, do I look like I'm turning to point or look like I'm turning away from point? If I go like this, do I look like I'm turning point away? If he pushes in hard, you can see I'm on. I'm right into the point. And point means where my contact is. Where I have contact to my opponent, like right here. If he's pushing in and I go like this, do I look like turned into point or past point? See, here's the contact point. Do I look like I'm turning into point or going past him? If I do this, do I look like I'm going into point or underneath him? Do I look like I'm going into point or away from him? So what you're doing is this wrist, if you have your structure right, as he pushes, it's the wrist that turns into point. Now see how I'm turning into point now? My wrist turned that point into point, and that's how I get him. If it's here, I turn into point. If I go like this, I didn't turn to point. So when you're talking about where you get your balance in your arms, it's because of the wrist. Most people don't train wrist. They train their shoulders to the wrist. They do this. They try to move their wrists through their shoulders, and that's wrong. You have to use your wrist from the drive from the shoulder to the elbow, and then the elbow to the wrist. Then the wrist can turn. Without that, you are pushing. You're not controlling. You're going to lean. You're going to commit. You're going to overthrow. And you'll always find that you're pushing. You always find that you're straining, because without that elbow, the wrist can't get its power. Without the shoulder driving the elbow, then the shoulder can't get its power. So we always like to say 3 proof is foolproof. Proof stands for point, rule, one's focus. Okay? Each joint that you have is what we call a point, we refer to as a point. So point, rule, one's focus. What's the rule on this focus here? On this joint. The focus is drive to the elbow. What's the rule on this? Drive the elbow to the wrist. What's the job of the wrist? To turn the point. The best analogy I can tell you is like, think of arm wrestling. We're arm wrestling like this. As long as he has this elbow steady, if you ever arm wrestled anyone, notice you always push your arm heavy into the table. Why? Because the table's resistance gives you energy to go backwards. So if he takes me down, he's strong. See how steady his elbow is? So if he holds, go take it down, take it down again. Without that elbow steady, that can't drive to the wrist. So without that, the wrist can't do its job. So 3 proof is foolproof. It is necessary, it's absolutely what you have to do to get the energy out to the wrist. Shoulder must drive to the elbow must drive to the wrist, and the wrist must turn to point. And that's how you get your balance control in the arms. Okay?
Awesome. Timothy said thank you, but I have an extra question that I want to ask you in regards to that whole balance thing, Sifu. What about using Tai Chi?
Tai Chi is great. Tai Chi is great. Any style that works on balance will help you. You know, as long as you keep the principle. There's principles that you have to do. It's not about style. It's not about the name. That's just words. It's about principles. You have to apply principles to what you do. And you have to have good principles. If you don't have good principles, for example, highest heaven, lowest earth, that's your structure for your body. Without the root, you'll always lean, you always tilt. If you have the rule, if you understand Tai Chi, the back open, chest closed. Back open means keep the energy forward. If you pull backwards, you draw energy backwards. So under pressure, you'll collapse. These are all principle rules that you have to have. And if you want to learn all the energy principle rules of Tai Chi and the Ngodak Now system, we have it in our site. So it's all there. So these are principles that you apply to what you do. Okay, like cars, there's all kind of cars in the world, but they all run the same principle: cylinders, spark plugs, gas, you know, and oil. So it doesn't matter. Some people have VTEC, some people this is a cam, this, whatever. But that just means of going about it. But the basic fundamental principle is still the same. You know, cylinder, engine, spark plugs, gasoline. That's what an engine does. So that's the core. The principle is your core. And then how you move about, where you want to move, for example. If you're going to turn this way, you're going to turn this way. If you move this way, you move this way. That's just stuff that you can mix and match. But the basic principle is still the same. I will still do the 3 proof no matter how I do it. Best analogy I tell you is like, give me 2 numbers equal 10. 9 and 1, 8 and 2, 7 and 3, 6 and 4, 5 and 5, 5.5 plus 4.5. You know, you can go into 20 divided by 2. It doesn't matter. The principle's still the same. That's irrelevant.
All right, awesome. There's a little bonus tip for you, Timothy. Thanks for being on.
So if you see push hands, like Tai Chi push hands here, this is another way of playing for energy control and balance. This is, to me, the ultimate, because this is just the basic, but then you go into combat principle. Now you see, He took it.
Yeah.
He slouched.
Oh, we got a couple more questions. Timothy wanted to say, I try to think of it when using the mukjang, elbow to wrist, correct?
Yeah, but without the shoulder, elbow means nothing. That's second floor. You need the first floor to make
Yeah.
the second floor.
So remember, you want to go from your shoulder to your elbow to your wrist, Timothy. Hope that helps.
Oh, I got myself straight.
We have one more question from Bugra. Should every Wing Chun practitioner study Tai Chi? What do you think? Oh,
I think you need to.
Yes,
You need to.
The reason why is because remember, Wing Chun
Yes.
was it's an abridged style. It's made to combat fast, but it doesn't tell everything. So it's like, should you just learn from a abridged dictionary? If your vocabulary is just within that, that's fine. But if you have to go outside that realm, you need an unabridged version. And Tai Chi encompasses everything. Remember, Wing Chun is very linear, so it doesn't encompass circling. It doesn't encompass arcing as much as Tai Chi does. Okay? Not to say that Wing Chun doesn't have arcs. Any style that just one side is just a weak-sided system. It has to encompass everything. Wing Chun just took the most direct force, where sometimes you need more around. Wing Chun is about going forward and going forward, but sometimes, especially when you're fighting multiple attackers, you'd rather have the ability to cut, cross, and turn much easier, whereas just stepping linear, moving linear. Some people can move very, very fast, and if you're stuck and rigid in that, it can slow you down. And it's always better to learn more. Why stop at one thing? You know, it's like saying, I learned one thing in life, and I don't need to learn anything more. That saying is, when you think you know it all, you do know it all. Because what you're going to do is not want to learn from anyone ever again, and you won't listen to anyone. So you got to be open-minded, and you got to really learn to accept, to me, principles of energy and not styles. All styles have fundamental principles, and that's what you really want to go on. And then what you want to do to expand to that, that's up to you.
Awesome. Sifu Larry, can you share real quick about your personal experience from being solely Wing Chun and then eventually moving to Tai Chi?
Yeah, man. I was training Wing Chun for like 8 years, and I was crying, really. I was crying.
And for 6 years, I've been saying what?
I need to do Tai Chi to get my sensitivity better. That's what he said to me. And I ignored it the first few years. But then, I sucked it up and I started learning Tai Chi, and I think my skill increased like very quickly in a very short span of time just by doing my Tai Chi form, my Qigong.
And why do you think that is?
Connects my whole body.
Connects your whole body. So
And
it
Tai
affects
Chi
the
is
whole
all
balance.
about getting the center control for balance and energy on someone, whereas Wing Chun is really aggressiveness, about putting pressure on person, going after them. The problem with that is when you have someone just as aggressive or more aggressive, you see people have a hard time because they're fighting back because they didn't know how to handle pressure. They learn how to give pressure, but they didn't know how to handle pressure. So when you have someone just as strong or as aggressive, you always have a hard time. The Tai Chi teaches you how to control that energy, whether you receive it or give it. And that's what really, to me, is really good. You know, Tai Chi, Chun means Grand Ultimate Fist, and it reason for it, because it's that good.
Absolutely. Awesome. Andy, welcome. Eddie, welcome. Who else? We got Moshe. Welcome, brother.
Why'd you do
Hey, Moshe!
No, we're the
You're
distraction.
very welcome.
Money Schma!
Oh my god.
Oh, that's your name, sorry.
Man, I suck at this.
You gotta push me over now.
Oh, we have one more question from our dear friend Orwellian.
Who?
June.
Uh-oh.
Larry and I know who this is. Our undercover brother. Do we have time to test Sifu Larry's pain threshold?
No!
You can ask that.
That'll be good.
I think Hector's down for that.
Pain threshold is relevant because
man.
no matter what you do, anyone can take a hard punch, but no one can take a focused punch. It's like saying, can anyone take a good stab in the stomach? No matter how conditioned you are, the punches that we make is designed not to hit at someone, but designed to hit into someone. So a big, strong person can take more punches.
All right,
But
man.
no one can take an internal punch. It's unless they yield with it, but you're not going to withstand it. It's like saying, who here can stand against a hard knife or ice pick puncturing you? No one can. The power is because, remember, what's the definition of power? It's force over area. If I'm punching Larry with a big surface area like this,
See, dude?
he can stand it because it's not focused. Remember, power is force over area. So if you look at my area, it's really big. You can see it's not.
I'm getting older now.
Oh, you guys are getting mean. Let's see, we got Timothy that says 3-inch punch. punch, I'm thinking he means the actual 1-inch punch. And then,
Yeah, if you're like this, it's about getting the acceleration and focus.
away from the right screen.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I know. But look, it's about getting your focus. And when we talk about the focus, a lot of people say Wing Chun is the bottom 3. Okay, bottom 3 is not as powerful. Okay, it's because it's a bigger surface area. These 2 knuckles are weaker. They're not connected to the wrist. So a lot of people tend to put their whole entire body to get that. You don't need that. You need just the top 2. The top 2. They're stronger bones. They're smaller surface area, and they are supported by the wrist. So you get much more power, and it can pierce the opponent much better.
I didn't see that.
And it's quicker.
Aurelian says, thank you,
It's
Sifu.
also quicker.
And Eddie says, Sifu versus Larry. Battle Royale. Okay, no, I'm kidding.
Just remember, you want to create snapping techniques. So when people are punching you, you want, so it's very fast.
That would
Okay?
not feel good.
So he's throwing another punch at me, snap. And if you notice, this, see the motion? Versus this, which looks like it's more direct, which looks like it's more focused. So if I'm hitting him in his body and I go like this, he can withstand it. Here,
Ooh.
it's piercing.
Timothy said he's very sorry. Sifu Larry.
It's piercing, and that's why a lot of people, like, if you ever see videos and I do demonstrations, you hear people groaning. It's like,
It's
that's
because it
because
hurts.
it hurts, and their body can't withstand it.
That's
It's
why.
piercing. It's not.
That's why
forceful.
I hurt and I crack. And I go, "Ugh."
There's a difference between having a strong punch and a powerful punch. Strong punch can go like this, and let's say I go like, I can move him backwards if I'm strong enough, but it didn't phase him because it didn't penetrate. It might have moved him backwards, but it didn't break him. Piercing techniques, I'll do it like, but piercing is designed to collapse him, not move him. We all think when we need to punch someone, we want to hit so hard that they move away from us. It's a wrong mental state. You want to drop them. It's kind of like if you stab someone with a knife, or you stab them trying to push them away, or you stab them so you can pierce. When you hit, you have to have the same mentality. You want to pierce. You don't want to move a guy away. A guy who's 280 pounds coming at you at 50 miles an hour, you're not going to move him backwards unless you have greater force than he does. Or more focused so you can penetrate. What happens if I did this and I kept pushing? All the energy wants to go in there, so he will naturally collapse. So when you hit with that piercing, the body collapses. Okay? If all the energy is here and I'm driving forward, all the energy that's here is going to curve in and go to that point. And that's what causes people to collapse and drop. If you've ever seen videos where people either got stabbed or shot with a bullet, you always see them curling to the point of the impact. And that's because all the energy says to go in and penetrates. And that's what you want. When you hit surface area, when you're hitting big, it doesn't penetrate. It can move you if you're strong enough. But then again, that's only if you're strong enough. Person who's 110 pounds is not going to pierce someone or punch someone who's 250 pounds coming up by going like this. It's like if they came at you and you had a knife and you did that, would change, okay? Yeah, it's steel, but the focus, if you had a knife that wasn't pointed, it was very dull and it didn't have a point, it'd be harder to hurt him. With a sharp knife, it's easy to hurt him. And that's what you want. You want sharp hits. You want focus hits. And because of that, it takes less energy, right? It's like an analogy I use is, if you had a very sharp knife, it doesn't take a lot of weight. If I just put it down as like scalpel sharp, I can just slide it and it'll cut his skin. Very, very dull knife, I would have to start pushing harder to try and get it to cut. That's the same thing when you're striking. The better focus you have, the less force, the less strength you have to put behind it. But the more dull it is, the less the focus, then the more you have to push behind it. So a lot of people teach you to throw behind, like get your shoulder behind, because it's not focused. If I'm going like this and I put my shoulder, you can see it's not driving. You see I'm actually lifting and throwing my body. I'm going part energy here, part energy that way, part energy this way. So it's divided. But if I go like this and I teach myself how to drive like this, rather than like this, you can see a swing on my shoulder, rather than a drive on my shoulder, it's much different. It has more power because it's better focused. So focus is really what you train. I always train my students to create focus over force first. We all naturally have a good speed, you know? Everybody can kind of move pretty quick. But how you aim, that's the difference.
I'm gonna focus on you now.
Just like it's your fault. Just like if you train someone how to shoot a gun.
Actually, I think it was Aurelian's fault.
It's his fault.
Give him a lesson.
Well, you know, just like if you train someone how to shoot a gun, you don't say, listen, just pull as fast as you can, whether you hit the target, it doesn't matter. Just the idea is to get you to draw out faster than the other guy. If you have a bad aim, it's not gonna do any damage. You would train someone first. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Get your timing, get up there, get your technique, and make sure that you have your focus on the target. And you practice that way. And as you get more efficient, you become faster while staying on target. And that's the way I train people. I train people to get their focus. Get their focus. And as their focus gets good, they naturally go faster and they naturally move. So you can see the difference between the two of them. He's not as experienced, so his focus is not as fast, but his is. So you can see he's always able to put that energy on him first because he can get that focus first. So it's like if there are two cowboys, he's drawing and he can hit him first. He might draw faster. He might draw faster, but he can't hit him because his aim is off. He's like, well, Larry's like, boom, because he's got the better focus. Now, don't get me wrong, speed is important, but remember, when it comes to training, train for focus first, speed naturally picks up with it. So you really want that first. We train for focus, not to say we don't train for speed, what we do, but focus comes first over speed. Just like if you teach someone to shoot a gun, you don't train them to go fast first. You train them how to get the lining, get the muscle memory, get the focus on, and then you say, now go faster with that technique. And that's the same way we train. Get the focus on. Once you get your focus on, now go faster with that focus. And if it starts to, I always tell my students go as fast as you can, but within technique. If your technique is compromised, you gotta go slow it down because your technique is not gonna be there. Going faster is only gonna make it worse. So you gotta make sure that you're moving fast enough while maintaining good technique. So if the technique compromised, you have to slow down so your technique catches up. And then as your technique catches up, then you go faster and faster. And that's the way you should always train.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you, Sifu Fu. Thank you, Sifu Larry. Thank you, Hector.
No, just
we'll explain what that little insider joke means at some other point in time. Edwin says, thank you so much. Excellent explanation. Jericho says, thank you, Sifu, for the additional knowledge on how to punch properly. Helped me a lot. Still need to practice, though. And Moshe says, right, you got to keep practicing. Yep. Very good. From Moshe, he said, thank you for the explanation. And he thanked everyone else as well. So, all right, real quick, guys and gals.
take care.
Thank you so much. Here's everyone. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll probably be doing this like at least every other week. So we'll hope to see you on next time.
You mean every other month? My English is not so good. Sorry, every other week.
Maybe every other week. All right, bye everyone.
That one's getting a lot of more stuff.